Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Josh, this is Demo 1 Garage. I'm doing today's preview and predictions video for the Singapore Grand Prix. This is all about where I think everyone will be placed by the end of the race and what I think might happen during what will no doubt be a chaotic Singapore Grand Prix. Definitely going to see a safety car, so make sure you stick around to find out. Let's do it. So, Ferrari, first up, Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel. This is a very, very important race for our man Sebastian Vettel. Unfortunately, he had probably a few niggling issues and he couldn't quite get it together during qualifying, and he found himself coming in third, which is not ideal, as the Ferraris were looking absolutely dominant all during practice sessions and even during the preceding qualifying sessions. It was a bit weird to see, where the two Ferraris ended up. But Q3 for Vettel, I'm actually going to put Vettel number one. I think Vettel will win this race. I think the Ferraris are too dominant. And as long as he doesn't make a mistake like he's done, especially last week in Monza, he can win this race. As for Raikkonen, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. He's got another Mercedes to overtake of Bottas. He is starting down in Q5 after all. Couldn't quite get his lap together either. Even though, they were looking quite dominant. Because it's a street circuit, overtaking and things are going to be hard. Track position is very vital. So starting in 5th, I don't think he'll do any better than 4th today. So Vettel, I think, will take out today's race, winning it from Q3. And as for Raikkonen, I think he'll bump himself up one spot and take out 4th. So some good points on the board for the Red Scuderia. Next up, Racing Point Force India, Ocon and Perez. Again, running Mercedes engines. I think they're going to be at a disadvantage here. They did make it through to Q3 though, which was good to see. Perez getting up into Q7 and Ocon up into Q9 as well. So they will be starting on the Hypersoft tyres, both of them. But I just think the likes of the Ferrari powered cars like the Sauber, even Renault, are looking quite good. I think they're going to probably lose a few spots. Perez, I think he'll drop to 9th. And Ocon, I think he might be outside the points today, down in 11th spot. So both boys dropping about 2 spots. So I think we'll only see Perez score the points for Force India today. They were strong in Monza, but I think they'll struggle today with the race pace. Haas F1, powered by the ever unlimited support of Ferrari, according to some teams. Grosjean and Magnussen. Magnussen was an outlier, getting knocked out straight away into Q1. I really don't know what happened with him. So he will start on the grid at 16th. But this is where the difference lies. Grosjean, up into Q8. So there's power there. They're running, obviously, the faster engine, I think. And they're getting full support from the Ferrari team. So Grosjean, I think he'll find himself up in one more spot in the 7th. It'd be really, really weird to see him up any higher than that. Again, track position is everything today at Singapore. And as for Magnussen, it's going to be a hard slog. He will have, I think, the faster car down there of everyone. It's just unfortunate he won't be able to capitalise on having such a good car, having not performed well in qualifying. But I think you might see him up in 13th. So it won't be a double points haul for Haas today. But if there are some incidents, some crashes, some safety cars, some good strategy calls, it'll definitely be 2 Haas drivers up in the top 10 if we have any of the other guys drop out. But I think the best he'll do, with no one, dropping out or anything, Magnussen from 16th to 13th. So that's Haas F1. Next up, Papaya Orange cars, driven by Alonso and Van Dorn. The team, McLaren, will have completely new driver lineup for next year. Both these guys are gone. Van Dorn, probably one of, the best up-and-coming talents out there. I think if he was given the right car, he could get some really good results. And I don't see why it couldn't have been McLaren. But anyway, and as for Alonso, we're probably losing one of the best drivers the sport's ever seen. So it's really, really sad to see these guys go. But they are here still today for Singapore. And they haven't done the best in the world. Van Dorn qualified 18th. But Alonso, again, driving out of his skin in a car that I think has been going backwards ever since the summer break. Alonso found himself up into Q11. But I just think, they're going to be going backwards. I don't think these cars will have the race pace. Clearly over one lap, Alonso can do it. But I think over the course of the race pace isn't quite there. They've been going backwards. I haven't really seen much performance gains by these from McLaren at all. So unfortunately, I think Alonso will drop down to 16th. So pretty bad result. Van Dorn, I don't think can improve at all. Probably stick around 18th. He's also been having brake issues and all sorts of things for a long, long time. But yeah, 18th for Van Dorn. Alright, on to one of the big ones, the Silver Arrows Mercedes team, Bottas, Hamilton. Hamilton's got a good wingman, Bottas, for the Monza Grand Prix, didn't he? Not a lot of people liked it. And it was really weird. Bottas sort of hinted that he's got a Ferrari behind him off the grid. So Bottas's wingman status, I think, will remain today's race as well. If it came to it, I think he'll bring out the wings and slow down a Ferrari if he has to. I think like I said, he's prepared to do that. And he's been saying that he's prepared to do it. And he's talked about it again. So if the situation were to arise, Bottas would slow cars down for Hamilton. That's just clear cut. Clear as day. So he is starting Q4, but I just don't think he's quite there at Singapore. I just really haven't seen, the best results from Bottas this weekend. So I think he's going to drop down to about 6th. I think there's a few other people that can beat him. As for Hamilton, who will be on pole position, he will have a hard time trying to defend Vettel. But I think, again, I said Vettel will get around him. Hamilton, I think, will drop back down in the 2nd spot. Whether or not Bottas stays out longer this race to help get even an undercut or an overcut at some point, that'll be very likely. And then if they then risk waiting for a safety car at some point, if we don't see one after the first lap, I don't know. But Mercedes are going to play it by ear, I think, because I think Vettel can win this. But if things happen right, accidents happen, safety cars happen, if Bottas makes a longer run, slows down Vettel, whatever happens, the Mercedes will try to slow those Ferrari boys down. But 2nd for Hamilton, 6th for Valtteri Bottas. Red Bull Racing, Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen are both running C-spec engines from Renault. They've been doing it now for a few weeks. And like I said, this C engine power mode has an increased risk of braking. The reliability of it is not great. And they saw some issues, I think because of it, during the practice. Verstappen came out and said he lost his shot at pole because he was going into force neutral. He was losing power. He'd been pretty vocal about it all weekend. And they had to, pull back the power a little bit from Verstappen's car. Apparently, Ricciardo's had the same issues as well. He just hasn't been as vocal about it. So they've both been driving around issues, but they've still just got this immense pace around the street circuit. And Verstappen seems to have adapted the best to these issues. If they can get them fixed before the race, I don't know. It's going to be very hard, I think, but Verstappen is a tenacious driver, aggressive one. We might even see another Verstappen-Bottas sort of defending situation going on again, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Verstappen, I think, will get the podium. I think he'll get 3rd. So he will drop down one spot. I think that's inevitable with the talent of Vettel and Hamilton he's going to have to battle with. But I think the race pace for the Red Bull's there, so he'll maintain 3rd. And Ricciardo as well, I think he'll get in front of Bottas and take that 5th spot. The Red Bulls are just looking really, really good. And I really don't see, unless this C engine mode completely ruins Red Bull's strategy, that we don't see Verstappen and Ricciardo within 2 places of each other by the end of the race. So 3rd for Verstappen and 5th for my man, Daniel Ricciardo. All right, next up is Renault. These guys are looking actually really strong this weekend. They're, like I said, running the B spec engine, where the customer team Red Bull are running the C grade. Engine power mode, again, reliability will be an issue with them. Renault, though, no, the B spec, it will be able to last the race, especially. Reliability is good. They're more concerned about, finishing a race, scoring points. And that's exactly what I think they can do. I think whatever improvements they've made and upgrades, it's always little. Every team does it every race. But I think Renault are on the mark this weekend. I've seen some evidence of that during practice sessions and even, good qualifying. So I think Sainz, who, was unlucky, I think, to get out in Q2, qualifying in 12th position, I think Sainz can push himself up into 10th. So getting the last on the points there. Hulkenberg as well, who will start in Q10. Again, I think the Renaults are looking stronger than, say, something like the Force Indias. So I think Hulkenberg can push all the way up into 8th spot. Again, if there's an incident during the first lap, I think they'll be in the sort of right position to sort of see it coming if it happens ahead of them and, skip that and maybe even score even more points. But double points scoring for Renault this weekend. I know they can do it. Sainz and Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg, I think, will be in front of Sainz by the end of it. But, it's looking good for them. Whatever they've decided to do with the upgrades, it is working. So, that's Renault. Alrighty. Next up is the Sauber boys running the customer Ferrari engine, obviously. And Leclerc, who will be off racing for the Works Ferrari team next year. Big, exciting news for him. And as for Ericsson, I'm actually not really sure. He's probably going to stick around with Sauber and race alongside Kimi Räikkönen. I think that's the case with them. As for this race, though, I think they're probably the best of the rest, clearly. I think they got the best engine in there. They're a little bit behind Haas this weekend. I don't think they've quite got the same aero balance or setup that they have. But they're going to be quite competitive. And given an opportunity, definitely someone like Leclerc will jump all over that. So he's qualified 13th. I think he'll probably get up one spot. It's going to be hard to overtake. But I think there's enough, drive in that car to probably, find at least one position by the end of it. As for Ericsson as well, maybe 14th. I don't know. I just haven't been as convinced, even though he's outqualified Leclerc. Just his race sort of pace, sort of his other results. I had to drop someone, and unfortunately, I think that'll be Ericsson today. But Leclerc will get up to 12th, and Ericsson will, unfortunately, drop to 14th. Toro Rosso, another team losing a good driver next year. Gasly being promoted up. And Hartley this year coming in for his first season. He knows he's not had the greatest of results. He's heard from Helmut Marko that there needs to be improvement. He's acknowledged that. And he knows that he needs to start finishing races better, qualifying better. Gasly, I think, has outqualified him pretty much every race. As for Monza, for Hartley, he didn't get very far. Didn't really get past the straight because he was crashed into immediately. Nowhere where he could go. So hopefully Hartley, the start of this one, Singapore's known to bring some pretty exciting races, can stay out of it and finish the race. So he qualified 17th, and I just haven't seen any evidence from him that he'll get any better today. So 17th, I think, is where he'll finish, likely to finish. Whether or not he retires because of an accident is a different story. That's very possible. Gasly, though, on the other hand, doing a lot better. But still, he was dropped in Q1 as well. Again, it's just going to be a very busy circuit. I don't think the Toro Rosso's quite got it this weekend. 15th for Gasly. So none of these boys will probably improve their position at all. But if they can find maybe a different strategy, maybe a couple of spots, but no more than that. But that's where I think they'll finish. Hartley 17th and Gasly with a respectable 15th. And last but not least, Williams. Sorokin and Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll's been linked to Force India next year because his father has pretty much led a consortium to get the team out of bankruptcy and get some new owners in there. So you would assume Lance Stroll's got a pretty much a confirmed drive with Force India. So they're going to have a vacant seat next year. As for this race, though, Lance Stroll knows, he said they need more grip to go quicker around the corners. So whatever happened to the gains, the setup they had at Monza, which is, it's a low downforce power circuit, where this is more high downforce grip related circuit. Williams clearly suffer here. He pretty much said that they need more grip to go quicker. He doesn't really think that they're going to improve at all. Sorokin hasn't really said a lot. He's been pretty quiet about the whole ordeal. But yeah, unfortunately, Sorokin, Stroll at 19th, 20th respectively in qualifying. And with all due respect, Sorokin and Stroll will stay there. I just don't think with the whole field finishing, that's the best they can possibly hope for. Maybe get in front of Van Dorn here or there, but they're not going to be challenging anyone. They're going to be probably lapped real quickly as well. The best they can hope for is to stay out of any incidences during the first lap and capitalise on that. But unfortunately, they're just not there, Williams, this year. They're not just there this weekend either. And 19th and 20th, I think it's the best they can even really hope for. Well, everyone, that has been my quick preview and predictions for this Singapore Grand Prix, which starts in just under 5 hours, maybe just under 6 hours from now. Hopefully, I plan to stream it, so if you can't get to watch it anywhere, join us in the fan chat during the stream. I'll be commentating it for you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you're in the Discord as well. Get any podcast questions answered, which will be coming up after this Grand Prix. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a safety car, probably more than one, possibly. The fight is on the line between Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton. Hamilton taking on pole, Vettel in third, where like I said, I think he'll be able to get out in front. The story's going to play out on track today, though, so make sure you don't miss it. And thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you like these videos, guys, please let me know by hitting the like button. If you like more F1 stuff, or you like esports racing, commentary, everything motorsport related, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video. My name's Josh, Race Hard and on the Edge. And like I said, see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.